Hi, welcome to this channel. I want to talk about teaching. So this is a video that I'm recording for teachers, but also maybe it could interest some students, I don't know. Lately I have been coaching, actually not lately, it's been quite a while that I've been helping teachers to, oh, this is a fur I guess that's how it's called. So it's been a while that I have been helping teachers to improve their teaching skills, to create interesting, challenging material, to gain more students, to be more confident. So it's been a while, but it's only recently I thought, hey, maybe I could share some tips and advice through my channel. Why not? I have so many ideas like of topics that I want to share with you. I have some interviews that I have done with some teachers that I want to share. It's not quite right the time is not right yet because before I start posting those interviews, I want to have some others in line already because I want to make this like a series. And I still don't know if I'll be using this channel because next year I want to start, as you know, as you probably know, or I'm telling you now, this is a channel where I post my language learning journey. So it's not, and I have sort of like been using to post my movie club things and my tips on teaching. And sometimes I would even like post myself playing the guitar or dancing. So this is I want to separate things, and I will. I keep telling myself that, oh, create a channel already, like to share advices and to I am all about like creating a community of teaching. I mean, like the community that I mean is like thinking like a like sort of like community because what I have been noticing is that in the teaching community, if I can say that there is one, um, I, I don't agree with some things that is normally said or done. So I am yeah, I guess I just want to share my own experience and maybe find some teachers that think alike so we could socialize, talk, have conversations over Zoom because, when you do this sort of work like we do, it can be pretty lonely because we don't have coworkers. So it's nice to have someone that went through the same experiences as you, right? So that's the long-term idea. The short-term idea is I want to talk to you about something that I found. So I will read to you. Um, so the thing that I actually I asked a question and I'm going to share with you the question that I asked. One second, let me share my screen. All right. So the question was, it was in a group, a teaching group. So I asked, hi everyone, what do you guys usually think when a student comes with a lot of requirements? I will give you an example. Hi, my name is such, and one, I wouldn't like to waste too much time on greeting each other. I would appreciate a structured lessons. I would like to have written feedback after the lesson. I would like to have a lesson plan. Just an example, do you charge more if you don't naturally do those things? You let them know how you work. I am asking because I have had 800 lessons as a student on italki, and only a few times teachers actually did the one thing I asked, to use a Google Docs which I think is important. I would hate to be a difficult student, but I am so flexible with requests as a teacher that I sometimes don't understand why most teachers I have taken lessons with weren't. How are your how are you as teachers students? And I have 16 comments. So I so what I was asking, I haven't had any student that came like with all of these requirements, but over time I have had students with requirements. And myself, as a student, I sometimes have requirements. And usually we say in the teaching world that it's very difficult to teach teachers because we have our style, and most of us think our style is the best one, sort of like, but some of us are willing to try others, and I fit in this category. I humbly submit to other teacher styles just to see, because we can learn so much from other teachers, and I have. Oh my God, I have learned so much from other teachers. You have no idea. So taking lessons with great teachers help us. So advice one, go and take lessons with amazing teachers so you can watch how they work and you can uh, experiment their techniques and adapt. And it's not stealing. I don't think we can steal things from people. Like, we can adapt, we can adjust. I don't know. So, um, let's see. Um, I kind of got lost because I have so many thoughts. There are so many things I want to share. So, okay. So, as a teacher, I believe, and most of the comments, I won't share the people who wrote the comments because, ethics and such. But most of the teachers that I have asked that question, they said that they would charge more or they wouldn't adapt. I didn't have one single teacher saying that they would be willing to accept the students' requirements. And that made me reflect on this thing a bit because, as I said, as teachers, we have a style. So I'll talk about myself. So the Google thing, the Google document is a must for me. I don't know, I don't understand why teachers keep using chat. Why? I mean, it's not too much of a big deal to open a Google document. It's easy. I mean, some teachers might not know how to use it, but there are tutorials. So use Google Documents to write down the words, to write down pronunciations, tips, advices, things while your student's talking. You can type some, I don't know, some corrections. And if they don't know the meaning of a word, you can go ahead and type something. It's like visual learning is very, very great. So for them to have that document, to, even if it is 5 minutes before the next lesson that they're going to have with you, that's so important. That helps so much. And I think that will value your teaching, like you make you like stand out from uh, stand out. I forgot the preposition here. Stand out from the others. Maybe it's this. Um, so use Google Docs. I don't understand why some won't. So I don't understand really, 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 because I ask that to my teachers, and even those who say that they'll use, they I keep having lessons with them, sometimes twice a week, and they forget, and I have to send them. And some teachers, they have said when I ask them like when I was searching this, they said that they won't, if they had to adapt to every student they have, they would have to adapt. Like, and I get that, but there are some things that I feel like it's a must. I mean, having a document, keep lessons organized. It's something that, I mean, unless you're offering lessons as a tutor or it's very informal, you just, the student, it's very advanced, so you're just typing some words here and there. Okay, but even so, even in that case, it would make you more valuable to your student if you were organized, like putting the date, the the words, things, feedback, like some feedback, as take the 10 last minutes and write some things with them, like review the things you have written down. I don't know. I think that's good. So that's pretty much my only requirement. I mean, to be corrected as well, I like to be corrected by my teachers. Um, they choose if they want to correct me right away, or if they want me to say everything I want to say before they correct me. I have a preference. I like to be corrected on the act, because if I'm repeating the word wrong many times, I don't think that's good. So if I'm making the same mistake over and over, stop me and correct me. But that depends also on the student. Um, if the student will feel like shy or bothered, it depends. So I think that in order to be a successful teacher, because I am not talking about a $4 teacher or a $10 teacher. I'm talking about a high priced teacher. Like if you want to charge $30, $40, $50, you have to do more. I mean, you are expected. I mean, in some countries, maybe $50 is it's cheap money, it's nothing, but still, you need to, for most students, depending on where they come from or their financial situation, paying $50 can be quite a lot. So if you're providing like a poor service, charging that much, or if you intend to get on those prices, you need to be unique. And the only way you can is being like individualizing your lessons, because everyone is different and everyone has different needs. So if you are like the type that will say, and I'm not judging, please teachers, if you have your style and you feel okay like letting students go, if you can afford that, if you are popular, if your language is very like popular, because there are languages that, I mean, I know languages like French and I don't know, English, Spanish, that teachers, they are rare. Not rare in the I mean, there are a great demand. So it's okay, one student goes and other and a million comes. So if you're in that situation, obviously I'm not talking to you. If you can afford to lose students, to let them go, to say you're not working with that student because they are that they behave in a way that you don't like, if they keep changing the lessons, if they keep like rebooking the lessons within 48 hours and that bothers you, so let's finish that relationship. Let's Okay, if you can afford that. But I'm talking to teachers that are looking for students and they want to grow, they want to make this like their career. They probably have like a high competition, so they need to stand out, right? So in that case, we need to, I mean, let me tell you a story. Once a student sent me a message. He wanted to learn everything about fishing, and I created a lesson about fishing. So back then I was very inexpensive, and I created a I love creating materials. Something about me is that I love the creation part. Maybe sometimes I don't know if I love it more than teaching the lessons, but I also love to teach the lessons I created myself. So no problem. I sat down and in 4 hours I had like this great material about fishing. Even things that I didn't even know, like in Portuguese, I have to learn to teach that student. But I realized that that was useless because what are the odds that someone who's learning Brazilian Portuguese, another person would come and we want to learn about fishing? It's a niche that might not be, I mean, it might not happen, and I won't impose that lesson. Like, what is the use of a fishing lesson to a normal student, right? So those things I don't do. So when I say let's be flexible, I'm not saying that you need to accept every demand. So if someone comes up and says, Camila, I would like to study about, I don't know, something specific. I can even think about, I don't know, let me think. Um, I want to study about what could be more specific than fishes? Uh, I don't know. Let's say I want to study about the, let's say that this person loves some singer. So this person wants me to create a lesson on the discography of this singer. But even that I would be willing to because I am not, I would probably do it just for fun, just in order to get to know something. Um, something that I wouldn't do. Let me think. I don't know because I guess I am too flexible. But if it was something really specific that I cannot think of, I cannot think of something right now. I don't know, fish, another animal. I don't know. Let's see. Let's say um, the insects of Brazil. That's very uninteresting to me. So let's say someone comes up and says, Camila, would you prepare a lesson? I'm a biologist and I want to study all the insects of Brazil. So would you prepare a lesson for me? Because the way I prepare lessons is with pictures, with images and sentences. So I wouldn't do that. I would tell the student that, or if I were to do that, I would charge more, but I probably wouldn't because I don't have much time right now. So I would tell that person that unfortunately that is very specific and I don't have the time right now or even the interest to create a lesson about insects, but I wouldn't let them know that. So yeah, in that case, I would let the student go. But when I hear teachers saying that they won't accommodate students because that's funny because in most profiles teachers say that they are flexible and accommodate and they customize their lessons, but that's not true. They have a style. I'm not judging. Again, I'm not judging. It's good if you can have a style. And I'm not even say that I'm a victim or like we're Latin Americans. We need to do everything the colonizers tells us to do. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Um, I'm saying that in order to be a high quality professional, we need to be specialists. We need to give something that no one else can. That's that. It's simple as that. So if a student comes up to me and says, hey, I am I am a diplomat and I would like to study Brazilians news. Um, so most of my students are not diplomats. I mean, some are, but even my diplomats, they want to study different things. I don't have a book that I follow cover to cover. That's what I'm saying. I adapt every lesson and I'm a different person. Not that I'm a different person, like not authentic person, but I am I try I think as teachers, we need to be there for whatever they need. So if we are talking to someone who's serious, serious. Um, if we are talking to someone who is more relaxed, laid back, why not? We don't have to be like, oh, I'm this and I only do that and I won't do that and I won't talk about that because I mean, we need to learn, especially language teachers. We need to learn to embrace cultures. People are different. People need different things. I have students that they have um, um, Asperger, or they have ADHD, I guess that's how it is in English. Or they are learning their first language. They are 70, 75. They need to, not that someone who is 75 need to go in a slow pace, but they asked me to. So there are things that we need to adapt. So when I ask that if they would like, so let me read again to you. One, I wouldn't I wouldn't like to waste much time on greeting each other. So some teachers they answer that greeting is a huge part of teaching. I know. I'm sorry. Greeting is a like small talk. It's important, right? But when a student write this, when is first of all, if a student comes with a list of requirements, something that you have to know is that that student have had bad experiences. No one comes like with a list if they haven't gone like through a lot. So the first thing I do is like I empathize because I know if someone is like writing topics to me, they have had bad experiences. Like I wouldn't like to waste too much time on greeting each other. I have received that several times. So what I think when I read that is that they would only have small talk and they would talk about the same topic over and over and over again. How was your weekend? What did you do? I'll tell you a story. Some weeks ago, I had a student. She came to lesson and she said, so I have this thing where people can book in 2 hours. I think I'll turn that down because sometimes it's like we think we don't have a lesson, but all of a sudden, oh my God, I have a lesson, and then I need to run. But she booked that lesson that way. I didn't know I have a lesson with her, so I didn't have time to send her like a questionnaire like I usually do to get to know the student. So in the first lesson, she said, I said hi, we greet each other. Um, we greeted each other, and then I started asking her something. I don't her experience with Portuguese, and then all of a sudden she said, "You are too expensive for just to talk. I want to see some slides," she said, because on my profile, I put that on my courses, I offer slides. All right. So she said, "You're too expensive to just to talk. I want to see your slides." And something we shouldn't do, not take things too personally. She was not talking to me. I know now that when a student says such a thing, like it is not personal. She doesn't even know me. Like, so she values her money. What I think is, yes, I might be expensive for that person. So she's putting too much on this lesson. So her expectations are high. So it's not me. The way she's speaking to me is not me. I know that most teachers from the communities that I am in, they would probably end it like the lesson with this lady because she was sort of rude, like, "You're too expensive for just," I mean, well, that's at least rude for us Brazilian. Anyway, but I said, "Oh, of course. I'll be happy to show you," not ironically at all, like very empathetic. I would show her. But then I said, "You know what? This is our first lesson, so I won't charge you for this lesson because we are getting to know each other today. It was a booking. You didn't have time to fill out my um questionnaire. So this is a free lesson. I'll show you how I teach, and then I'll return this lesson for you to book a second lesson. All right. And then all of a sudden, she realized, I think that was the impression that I had. She realized that I am very confident on my teachings. Like I I would be willing to give her a class for free because I wanted to know her more. I needed in order to present my material that I have tons, and I could even improvise. I need to know some details about the person. It's not, I mean, there are people who are more serious. I have some material that they're very like weird. Like I won't even tell you because I can teach. Just to give an example, I have a class on Tinder, on Grindr. I could teach Portuguese on so many, like with different sources, depending on the students. Like I could work the subjunctive in different ways. So she was a lady, a middle-aged 80 lady. So I need to know some things before I present some, you know, teams. Uh, and then she said, "Oh, all right, it's a free lesson." So, okay. So she told me everything, and then I started the lesson. Not longer after I asked her some questions, and she gladly answered. And then we had a lesson, and it was a very great lesson. And at the end of the lesson, she was like, I don't say that to brag, not at all, but it was true. She said, "It was a very great lesson. You're a great teacher, and please charge me for this lesson." And she bought two packages right after it. And then I was like, that's the way to go. That's the way. Like, we don't have to be like greedy with things. Like if a student wants to stay or wants to go to do our thing, doesn't mean that we won't give the students what they need. So when a student says, "I wouldn't like to waste much time on greeting each other," like it was like a reflex response. Probably she have had like bad experience, like talking, and it was not what I was doing. I wanted to know, like, it was a small talk, but a small talk that I was getting information to give her what she needed. Um, and also what she wanted, because what she wanted was slides and a structured lesson. But, you know, so when I hear that, that's what they mean. I don't want to waste too much time on greeting each other. They want to go, they even if it is small talk, but the small talk needs to provide the student with something more than just they describing their, I don't know, their weekend or their week or their hobbies. They're tired of talking about that, or they will get tired. So it needs to be more. Second, I would appreciate structured lessons. So what do they mean when they say structured lessons? It is, I mean, sometimes when teachers hear that, like, "Oh, structure lessons, should I create like a book?" Like, I don't know. It is nothing like that. It's structured lessons for me, it's it's something like they can see after the lesson, they know that they have learned something. And if they think it back, they, "Oh, okay, so I studied that, I've learned that, and I have like a document." So we read something together, then they wrote me some words, they asked me some questions, they offered me some corrections, they gave me feedback, and now I have something that I can work on this week. That is a structure lessons. I mean, it could be so many things, it could be something that you give them beforehand. Some students of mine, they like me to give them a text or a video, some questions for them to reflect on, some audio exercises that they record and send back to me, and I correct with them, or usually with them. So it depends. An structured lesson is a lesson where the student can see what they have learned. For me, that is an structured lesson. It could be a grammar, it could be a conversational. People think, usually teachers think that only grammar lessons are structured lessons, but that's not true. Vocabulary lessons could be structured. Conversations can be structured as long as you're giving feedback and writing things. That is structure, you know? Um, so no problem when I read that. I would like to have written feedback after the lesson. So some teachers, when I present them with this, they said that they would have to charge more for written feedback. So if I mean that's sort of where I do that. I do write written feedback like once a month or twice a month. I have like a folder where I go and I write some written feedback to my students. It's something that I do because I think it's important to have some written down. But I wouldn't charge them more because I think that when I set my price, um, I when I set my price, what I'm communicating, what I think a teacher should be communicating is, um, I'll give my best to help you. I'll I'll be there 100%. And I don't like the idea that we are being cheap with this thing. I mean, charge the price you think you deserve, but don't be too like negotiable like with people because in people's relationships, like we are people, we don't, I mean, I wouldn't tell a student like, okay, so you want me to write you a written feedback. I will need you, I mean, I'll spend 5 to 10 minutes doing that. So my hourly price is such. I need you to pay $10 for that. I mean, what? I mean, of course, we are paying by. I know many people won't agree with me. We are paid by hour, so our time is precious. I know that. I know, but if you are not providing value to the student, what is the point of being a teacher with no students or having just a few students or not being able to like have a life out of this? Because I mean, if you were working, if you were working like in a company, of course, we would have like some rights and like a lot of benefits, like in some countries, health insurance and things. So it's different. But if you had a boss that would ask you to do something extra, wouldn't you? Or would you have to, if you knew that that thing could bring more value, wouldn't you do it just because you want to grow in that company? So I think that every little thing that we do uh, creates value to our lessons and to the students' journey. So that means also if we are going to talk about money, but that's not what it's not about money, but if you do that, you won't have to be scared because I know that many teachers are scared when they need to hire their prices. Oh my God, I'm going to ask for $2, $3 more. Oh my God, I'm going to lose all my students. You won't. Why would you if you're already offering them the best service that they could get? I mean, not that other teachers couldn't offer. I mean that they are already with you. Why? I mean, the ocean is so big. Why risk like where would they find a new teacher that would provide them what you provide them? You know, I- you know, I know, I don't know, Preply and other platforms, they have tons of teachers. But believe me, I have had a lot of lessons as a student. Good teachers are hard to find. Good matches, especially. Like there are plenty of good teachers, of course, but a teacher that matches like our style, our personalities, because we spend a lot of time with our teachers. Like if a year has 42 weeks, it's at least 42 hours. That's a lot of time to spend with someone that you don't feel comfortable like working with, that doesn't get what you want, you know? some students, they don't know what they want. That's the thing. So they might stay with teachers that are not, I don't know, passionate about their careers, I guess. I just want to state over and over and over and over and over again and over. I am not criticizing teachers. I am just telling you how I am and how I expect my teachers to be, what I offer my students, and what I train my teachers to teach. So that's what I believe. That's my, I don't know, that's my core beliefs. And that doesn't mean that other people's beliefs or systems or methodologies are wrong. We live in a world where, you know, it's all right to be you, it's all right to work the way you do. We have public for everyone. So, I'm just commenting on things. It's totally okay to have our styles and don't change. All right? Okay? Those are just my beliefs and they're not right because I believe in them. It's just how I work and it's been working for me. Tomorrow might not. Who am I? Like we say in Brazil, who am I in the line of bread? Quem sou eu na fila do pão? Like, all right? It's just my experience. Okay. Having said that, let me continue. Um, so um, so some teachers said that they wouldn't provide a written feedback or they wouldn't provide a lesson plan. A lesson plan is something that I understand why most teachers won't do that. It's because it's very likely that we do that. We give a student a lesson plan and then the student disappear and study by their own or with other teachers. So a lesson plan, I think it should cost more to create that, and like a compromise. Like I have a friend, he's a teacher and he has a contract. So when he creates like a lesson plan, it is like a 3 months contract if the student breaks the contract, etc. So I think that's okay. A lesson plan is very difficult to create, personalized, hours and hours and hours. um So, yeah, um, I think so what teacher said here, I have a method that many students are happy with, and I don't feel comfortable having to do something different for one student, but it's just me, the person said. Um, yeah, so it's true that most students, they come to us, they have no idea on how to learn a language whatsoever. So they come and they're happy with whatever we teach them with our pace. It's good when they are being like guided and they trust you. I like that feeling that a student like where I'm taking them. It's good. But there are some students, and myself included when I'm a student, that we need some things. And I feel like it is very difficult not to be able to like have the necessary space to ask for those things. It's not nice to feel like the teaching student relationship is purely negotiation, I don't know if that's a word. it's I don't like that feeling like when humans are interacting. Of course we have to pay teachers. Love getting paid. I make a life out of this. I need my payments. But when we put a price to a minute, to 5 minutes, I think one idea would be if the students needs you to like um give them written feedback. Why not to tell them like if I mean I wouldn't do like I wouldn't charge for 5 minutes, but an idea would be okay. So in order for I'll do that, but we will fit as I want to give you this as soon as possible. Would you mind if we finish the lesson 5 minutes earlier so I could use that time to write you feedback. Maybe one day I'll have to do that because I'm getting so busy with my projects, with my movie clubs and courses and etc. that one day I might, if they want something that would require extra time, maybe I'll get a baby, I'll have a baby someday and I'll be all over the place. Maybe I'll have to ask them that. Like, yes, I'll do that, but would you give me like the last 5 minutes of our lessons for me to do it? And I bet they gladly will agree because when you are at a certain price, students, I of course, that's not a golden rule. That's not the true, like the absolute truth. But I have realized I started charging $4 and now I'm charging 30 and for other lessons even more. Um, so what I realized is like as our prices go up, the students they tend to be more understanding. So it's more likely that if they ask you that, they will offer you that. They'll tell you, you can, and they will agree. I mean, things they don't have to be like that dramatic, like that difficult, that they are like this feeling of people are taking advantage of us is something that we feel, but is not necessarily true. So if you are a teacher and you feel like there are students, you feel like they are taking advantage of you, have a conversation with them. If they won't let you, I have some of the people that I coach, they come and say that there are students that they won't let them finish the lesson, they'll keep talking. So there are strategies to finish a lesson in a polite way that they get. I think people are more understanding than we realize. Um, and also I think that yeah, I think I do believe in being personal. That does not mean that I'll be venting my life, but it means that every student is different. And even if I happen to use the same material with one and another, the way that we will approach that will be different. And I am happy to adapt. I'm I'm happy to adjust. I don't have that problem. Unless it is, like I said, someone wanting me to create like a list of all Brazilian insects. I wouldn't do that only because it makes no sense for me right now, but it might make sense for another teacher. Maybe they are biologists. They would do that. Maybe they wouldn't do as I would. Like I would put the pictures and the names and sentences, but maybe they would find a website with all the insects and they would go through that page with the student, and that would be enough. Maybe that was what the student were asking, right? To go through the list together, talking a bit about the insects. Maybe it was that. And that is quite easy to do. So yeah, I like to think of people as people, not products. I don't like to think of myself as a product, although I do have a price. It is more like a relationship um, that we build over time. Most of students, they are with us for years, you know. I have students, that I have studied that they have studied with me for 4 years, 5 years now. And it's not because I'm not a good teacher and they're not learning and they keep me like, it's because they enjoy the language, it's a hobby. And there is always something to learn. There's always something new to learn. I have been studying English myself for 15 years. And that's when you say, what? That's a 15 years English student who's been talking to me? Yes, that is the level that I have. I'm sorry if it's not good enough, but I mean, I should probably practice more. I have my problems, but I don't mind. I don't mind communicate in like using the wrong sentences or with the wrong pronunciation. So you shouldn't as well. Like if you're a Portuguese speaker or an English non-native speaker, I mean, we make mistakes as long as the message is being delivered, we're fine. And I hope that I have delivered this message in a very or a bit coherent way. If not, feel free to reach out and ask me. Hopefully that was useful. Again, I was not criticizing anyone, other teacher styles. I respect. It is good that they are honest about their teachings and they say upfront that they're not willing to do such and such. I sort of like have my own style, and that's that. And it's fine, and everyone's happy living their lives. Yeah. So you have a wonderful week, and whenever I have something else to share, I mean, I do have a lot to share, but not always have the time, or I'm not always well, although I have been recording when I'm not well. Anyway, you be happy. Everyone, may we all be. Bye.